All right, hello and welcome back to my channel, RiseRelief. I am Tia, the founder of this wonderful company that is going to help save your life financially, RiseRelief. And today we're going to be talking about compounding interest on the student loans. We're going to talk about and figure out why, when seemingly you may be paying on your loans, but the balance is not decreasing. So, ever wonder why you've been paying on your loans month after month, year after year, and over time your loans have not decreased? That's because of compound interest. Millions upon millions of borrowers have loans and they have interest attached to their loans, and the interest compounds without any reprieve. So today I want to break down how student loans compound over a course of time. And we're going to give an example for starting off at the age of 18. Typically, that's when we all graduate. We're about 18 years old, and that's when we sign the promissory note. Now, after you graduate from college, the loans will end up following you over a course of time. So let's start with some basic numbers. The average student loan borrower in the United States owes somewhere between $30,000 to $40,000, okay? And so we're going to start off with an example. Let's just do a happy medium. We're going to do $35,000 to play with, okay? We're going to utilize that for an example. Okay, so keeping in mind $35,000. And now we have the average interest rate for the student loans is between 5 and 7%. And so we're going to do a happy medium there. We're going to do it about 6.5%. So we're thinking we took out a $35,000 loan and we have a 6.5 interest rate. And this is what's attached to our loans. And that's what we're going to be paying for over the course of time. Okay, so now you've graduated, you have your cap and your gown, everybody is celebrating you, and you are getting ready to start a new job, and that first bill comes in. And so this is where it ends up getting serious. So let's say at 22 years old, you begin to enter your repayment plan, and the loan just doesn't sit there, okay? Interest begins building up on top of the balance immediately. That's when it starts off immediately. So remember, we started out at $35,000. And so now let's pretend that you are paying your loan off in a matter of a decade. So 10 years, you started paying on it at 22, and by 32, you should be done. But over time, you could possibly end up paying nearly $48,000 to $50,000 due to the interest rate that is on the back end. Okay. Now, remember, on the loan, the original statement was 35 grand. And once you're done, you have pretty much shelled out about 50 grand over time. So now you've probably been paying on your loans for a good 5 years. You got a great job, but then all of a sudden life ends up happening as we know it. And for the best of us, a lot of things can happen. You can lose your job, become laid off. You can get sick with a terminal illness. You can just have a financial hardship, and you are no longer able to work, maybe from disability. And so now you end up struggling. Okay. And then you end up putting your loans in deferment or forbearance, or you take out one of the interest payment offers that they have, that the government has, or your interest bearing rates, or your IDR. Or you end up doing some sort of a refinance in which you end up trying to pay the bare minimum as possible because that's what your pockets can afford. And so you're trying not to default on the loan. So you go to the bare minimum. And so what ends up happening is the worst thing imaginable. And a lot of us have gone through this and or are dealing with this now at the moment. Not only that, your credit is getting it's messing up. It's getting lower. You were at an 800, you were at a 750. Now it's going into the 6s. Now it's going into the 5s. You're behind on your payments, or either again, you're paying the bare minimum. Okay. And so you are able to afford what they have given you with the bare minimum. But guess what's still happening? The interest is still accruing. And so now we have this snowball effect that's happening with your loans beginning to balloon and grow and grow and grow. And so now the 35,000 has turned into 50, and then into 60, and now into 70, because time has passed. And now you don't have any type of way to even create a tip of the iceberg to chip away at the loan that is now growing at all. And so this is why so many borrowers, including myself, have felt frustrated over the course of time, because you're paying every single month, the balance barely moves, or worse, sometimes the balance actually grows. And that's what happened to myself. If you've seen back in my other videos, I've talked about how I started out at a private school, a private college, and my loans that I took out was 60 grand. And I knew that that was the amount that I wanted to pay back, and I could afford that should I have received and gotten a job that paid at least about $50,000 to $60,000 per year. I calculated out the amount of time it would take for me to grow back. And unfortunately, I got stuck in that time frame where the economy was, it declined substantially back in 2010, 2008-ish era, when I first got out of high school. And then now we're in an economy where it's even more horrible. And so I'm pretty sure you can't find a job. And I've been reading on the news where a lot of people cannot find jobs. And so now your balance is growing and ballooning, starting from 60 grand. It went all the way up to, and you will not believe this, $200,000. That's how fast it compounded. That's how far the loans went. That's how big my loans became. And yes, I did enter into deferment and forbearance on occasion. Yes, I did take out the interest bearing rates. And yes, I did do the deferments of where I had to just utilize my particular salary amount to pay off my loans. And it was pretty much at the bare minimum of what I could afford. And so my loans just accrued over the course of time. And so here I am, I'm at 200 grand, all the more. And I even have seen my loans go up even more. I started this channel a couple of months ago. Back then, a few months ago, it was at $196,000. Now, when I've checked on studentaid.gov, it is at $200,100. This is what I'm talking about with the interest rate accruing. This is where it gets frustrated. Imagine being just 18 years old. You sign that, you want your degree, you want to be successful in life. And unfortunately, by the time you hit your 30s, your loans have just blown up all the more. And so this prevents a lot of things from happening. You want to buy a home, you want to get a new vehicle, you want to have things where your credit is top notch, and you can't do it because there's this burden, these shackles, these chains of having these loans. And so this is one of the reasons why I've decided to start RiseRelief. And that's because this is a platform that is going to cause us to help one another pay off our student loan debt. We can no longer depend on the government. We can no longer depend on any other faction or any other type of system in which we need sort of a handout, so to speak, to help us have a reprieve of our loans. Unless they've already passed some things in law like the PSLF, which is very helpful for those who are in the nonprofit sector. But other than that, no one else has a reprieve. Even your private loans, which will be a whole nother video. This has been founded. We're going to help one another. We're going to crowdfund our way out of student loan debt. So please, 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 please continue to watch the videos. Continue to stay tuned, because this is being built. This is a process. And I am building a website. I am getting the platform together so that as you all and I myself put into the pot on a monthly basis, we contribute to one another. All of this money, just think about it. All of this money being piled up together. I'm talking $2 million, $3 million, and it can be possible. And we call your loan servicer and we pay off your student loan debt with no strings attached. That's what the point of RiseRelief is. I know we're tired. We're sick and tired of being tired. And so please stay tuned. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because if you do, this will help the algorithm. If you can like and share, that would be awesome. And yeah, so good luck with everything and have a good day. See you next time.